What's good, YouTube? And welcome to the house. If it ain't the Texas heat going up, it's them card prices. We actually happened to win the box battle with TCG player against head-to-head battles by like a freaking dollar, and we crushed the crush cards. They're having a pretty good time lately themselves, besides that box opening. So, I gave away my pulls, and one lucky commenter got that, replaces the pinned comment. LP is taking home the tactical talents, all my ultra rares, and an Odd Eyes Revolution Dragon. But since we won, I get another box to give away to you guys. Literally by the skin of my teeth. Taking that down by $1 is ridiculous. So, all you gotta do to enter this giveaway is like this video, be a public subscriber so that I know you're supporting the channel at least for free and coming back for more, and tell me what card in the comment section you think has the highest potential to go up from where it's at. It could be the top heavy Forbidden Droplet. Do you think it's gonna be 120 one day? Do you think Odd Eyes Revolution Dragon is going to double or triple in price? Should old Schism, Ice Dragon's Prison, will Fallen of Elbaz finally get a broken fusion that brings him to the next level? Tell me what card out of this entire set you think will go up the most in the comment section down below, and you could win yourself that box of Rise of the Duelist. It'll be one random person. That being said, let's get into today's Market Watch, starting with all the Starlights have appeared. It did go kind of in the order that I thought, with Gaia being the cheapest out of all of them, but still a pretty good set cover card that looks awesome for a Starlight rare. Then Win just isn't pulling the same weight as the Link monsters, and I don't know if that's going to pan out differently in the future. It's still really awesome and based around the Charmer support, but the Links just have a different presence when it comes to that collection. So I do think there will be a lot of people collecting this, but we'll see its future versus, say, her Charmer counterpart in Starlight Rare. Then Tactical Talents. Oh man, so many Yu-Gi tubers, it's funny watching them, myself included, stumble over the new name Triple Tactics Talent. And then Ecclesia atop the set. DD Crow missing though. I think DD Crow is actually the best pull. The Starlights are panning out crazy for the estimated value pulled, because you're still getting 1 out of every 2 cases. That's out of every 24 boxes, you're averaging 1. I saw Ruxin pull 2 in one case. That was absurd. Literally the best case I've seen on YouTube. And so many people are pulling all these high-end cards because there's so many right now. That's why this booster box has stayed around $80 instead of falling back towards like 60 to 65. You have Forbidden Droplet winning right now, and I can't understate how good this card is in combo decks that only need 1 to 2 cards to do their combo to fend off whatever else is going to be happening to them. And the difference, people are saying Dark Ruler no more, it takes care of everything, you don't have to get rid of extra cards. When it comes to Yu-Gi-Oh, being able to take out your opponent's life points and end the game in a turn with your 2-card combo is very, very freaking nice. That's why this card is seeing the levels that it is. Nadir Servant, the searcher for the Dogmatica engine, it's up there in price still, ahead of Triple Tactics Talent, and this is seeing gameplay, but again, it's like, when you activate it, the power of 3 ban cards, you're typically having some board set up against you already, or you're responding to a hand trap that stops something vital. Like, yes, it feels really good to activate that after an Ash Blossom, but that's like the ideal scenario. Most boards are setting up Herald and Savage, where you have 2 negates that both can take care of this card. So in this current metagame, stuff stopping your opponent from being able to react, and really, really a great new archetype that has come in and has these extension plays and all of this firepower to be able to keep going up its lines. Yeah, this is kind of it. Ecclesia up at $25 and really almost passing the rest. We see Maximus and Fleur-de-Lis going down in price. Odd Eyes Revolution Dragon, there's that final Dragoonity reveal, not so hype. Not so hype on the final Dragoonity cards. Phoenix was pretty disappointed, and they don't really seem to push what the rest of the cards were doing, but I still think Dragoonities will be very good. Something to look out for later, if not just for Pendulums. And the rest of the set, so freaking cheap and awesome. I do see a lot of potential for things to go up. Schism, while people are playing one, look at how low the quantities are staying on market. I think there's a ton of vendors thinking, okay, I'm going to hold these, I'm going to wait, I want $10, I want $20, they have a price in mind, but a lot of people just are not listing this card on market versus a ton of the other cards. And then you're just not paying much anything above $1 for the rest of the set. So again, Fluffle player very lucky. I know anybody Hunting the Dogmatica doesn't like to hear somebody happy with the prices in the set. Don't worry, I have a different card I've got to hunt down when Yu-Gi-Oh! IRL comes back out if I'm still playing the good old Fright for Fluffles. That's Eldritch the Golden Lord. His buyout is falling out. This card, you might remember, went to ridiculous proportions. People bought it out to 200 and then it fell to 165. It's back to its normal range, which floats between 115 and 135, with tons of sellers lining up saying, pay me my money, I'll take it, and the competition is actually ramping back up. I'd be selling this card during the offseason. Like, we still have a March set ahead. We don't know when events will be back. This is a big ticket item, and if you're not playing remote duels, you're not in active tournaments right now, I don't think there's much of a point to hold on. Konami does love its puns, so them having commented on Golden Lord, they do Easter eggs like this. That's pure speculation, but we've seen what Konami does in the past with their reveals and also kind of how they push products. I could really actually see that happening. Let's look at Battles of Legend Armageddon and a little bit of fallout happening with 10,000 Dragon. I know my nemesis on market of late versus Dragon Maid's now 10,000 Dragon. This card is falling out somewhat fast, as we see last night there were only like 2 listers under 1,400, I believe, when we looked on stream. Now we have one with 2 copies, 2, 3, 4, 5. I know a ton of deep pockets are interested in keeping this up in price. There are so many people that have gone in. We saw the huge buyout at the very start of this, but despite that, it's starting to trail down again. So we will see what's going to happen. I can't imagine it's going to go too much lower before those invested pockets start going back in. You might want to actually consider getting yours, I hate to say, because I could see them doing multiple waves of this buyout to protect their interest. I think I know what the next tab is. I actually don't. So I want to talk more about that, but let's get into first a couple of Mellfy buyouts. We've got Wind Up Kitten. This, odd enough, is not one of its first or second buyouts. This has happened many times throughout history and hype. It's one of the best level 2 beast monsters. So there it goes. And Rescue Cat is also going on for its Turbo Super version, wherever that may be. There it is. You see, basically no copies are left on the market, and it is over doubled up in price here. So Mellfy hype? Yeah, memes and cuteness tend to stir the market along with the degenerate waifus. It be like that. Now let's move back into Battles of Legend. The Utopia has also fallen about 10% towards 450, which is a huge freaking drop. And you see 22 listings for it also. Despite the multiple buyouts of 10,000 Dragons, there's less listers on this card, but people still want to move and make their money. So you do see it goes to 500 somewhat quickly, but a lot of people interested in making a sale here too. When it comes to these two, again, because of how it's playing out, how people are pushing the market, how people are after 10,000 Dragon, they're invested to make it stay high in price, it seems, and that's going to continue to happen. Utopia, it doesn't seem like that has the same energy, but it's just naturally lower in quantities because 10,000 Dragon, as we've seen from the mass ratio openings, it's easier to pull in the set. And the boxes were down to 80, and now we're seeing they're like back to 90, just because it's so good to hunt this card and you're so likely to make your money back versus gambling on the short prints. Also, this set panning out, Invocation is about to pass Chaos Emperor Dragon as the top card. Invoked Dogmatica is a very good deck, and the version that the competitive players seem to be going for. People are snapping this up in 3-ofs, and we don't know when the next reprint's going to be for it. Konami's really stringing this one along in terms of selling it out, and man, it is up there in price, and it may be going up back to 30 all the way. It could go all the way. Besides that, again, the rest of the set fell out cheap. Trishula still feels like a steal. Artifact Sanctum, so many penny stonks for when competitive Yu-Gi-Oh! Returns that I feel like people aren't taking advantage of right now. Be sure you have the cards you want from this, and don't look back a year later and be like, wow, that's $5 or $6 now. Why didn't I go ahead and get that when I could? Next up is collector rares, and kind of this weird thing happening where the biggest ones are falling out and other ones are staying somewhat stable. You remember this was bought out to 400. It's been falling ever since. Extravagance, shockingly, is around $160. Big fallout on that after its initial buyout. And the top one, Blackluster Soldier, lining up at 300 when pretty much a bunch of people, myself included, thought this was just to the moon, GOAT players, people love it, it looks so good. Well, people got new toys to play with when we wrapped back around again. 10,000 Dragon came out, and a ton of money started to move towards that from the deep pockets. Then you have the Starlights out of Rise of the Duelist, which are, granted, you know, pretty expensive. They are something that people are hunting down because this set was shorted, so these are likely to maintain or have very good prices in the future because they're not going to redo a first edition run. The first edition is one run. These Starlights, you're not going to see a ton of them in the future, and some wacky things could happen with those. The collector rares have unlimited printings coming out, which could naturally hurt it, or cause a big spike towards the first editions in the future, but for now, people are unloading, people are letting it go, and it's really weird, the different directions, like Chaos Emperor Dragons here at 200, actually above Pot of Extravagance. I could not have told you that would happen. Like, when this set was conceived and you told me both of these are collector rares, my money would have been big on this unless it got an ultimate rare or just got reprinted into the ground. But here we are. I do know that Chaos Emperor Dragon's a fan favorite, but a lot of these feel like certain people are interested in continuing to push while others, the meta is here for it. Immortal Phoenix Gearfried's meta is here, and it's still chilling at 130. So, when we pull out the handy-dandy calculator to help us realize why this is happening, there's one in every 3 box when it comes to collector rares, meaning 4 per case, meaning in 4 total cases, half of the old Starlight rare ratio, you know, to get there. You're at half of that, right? And you're pulling 16 of these, meaning 1 of each by RNG, which is, you know, if we were to up that to 8 cases, 32 total. Collector rares, 2 of each, where by Rising Rampage would have 1 of each Starlight. That's a lot of collector rare, that's a lot of value to fall out, that's so many cards, and you're pulling double of each single one versus a Starlight, and the community seems to not really buy into it as much versus Starlight rares. It's fallen out, and it's very interesting to watch. I wonder if, and I want to ask you the question, if this will spike back up in the future, especially first editions versus unlimiteds, kind of like how Ghost Rares are in there. There's just those gigantic gaps. How will this play out years from down the road? Part of that answer comes down to how Konami's going to treat collector rares in other sets in the future, and that's also a big question mark. Like, I was thinking, this gold series, it could be standalone, and then the next gold series, to help sell it more, they could inject collector rares in there. They could be like, yeah, you like that first gold rare? It's even better this time. So, we don't know what Konami's going to do with its future product. They've been doing twists and turns, making everything more appetizing and appealing lately. This was a great move, and it does seem like the surge of hype initially has really fallen from it, and it's your chance to get them cheaper using that TCG player link in the description down below, costing you nothing extra to support the channel directly for the cards you'd already be buying, who also give me boxes to give away. But when it comes down to it, will they fall further, or is this the good price to be getting on the first eds right now? We'll see as time tells. And finally, I wanted to talk Legendary Duelist Season 1 real quick. Millennium Eyes Restrict is something to grab sooner than later. This product kind of fell on its face in terms of the secondary market and actually selling off of shelves. So while it sits there, I mean, if cards do go up, people might chase after certain ones. But I think Millennium Eyes is good to have, and the best penny stock out of here is probably Toon Tables of Content. Long term, but short term, Red Eyes Fusion is also a pretty good pickup as we're actually heading towards Red Eyes Dragoon, and we know that people love taking their time and scrambling last minute for the cards that they'd want to get. We've seen that all too. Hey man, you got any of those cases that were on pre-sale forever? You know Yu-Gi-Oh players are like that. But I wanted to give also a conversation. Like, I was talking to the owner of YBM, Yu-Gi-Oh Black Market here, code WhatsGood5 for 5% off, and Dragons of Legend isn't selling too well for him, and he was like, maybe we need to find a way to push it. I don't know if he's thinking about a sale or something extra in the future. It already looks like he's kind of slashed prices pretty hard on it, but when it comes to this, people just aren't as excited, especially after having seen it. I was telling him, I'm going to tell my audience to spend their money unless this is an insane deal on Legendary Duelist Rage of Ra. Keep it sealed. That Ghost Rare Ra is going to sell that set like crazy, or Phantom Baby Rage, because we saw what happened with Rise. We saw the demand for other things. We've seen sealed product time and time again, selling out, going up, selling out, going up, selling out, going up. I would have my eyes on these two and the Megatins rather than this, and I'm always honest with my audience and open. So if you're gonna make this, it better be an insane deal if you're gonna push it on a sale. But yeah, these two, And Megatons, that's where my money would be right now if I'm going in. Thank you so much for watching today's Market Watch. Konami's really made product this year on just another level, haven't they? They've made it worth chasing an opening on a larger scale. Not like 1 box, 2 box, but when you're going in on 2 cases, the likelihood you're going to exceed the value is crazy. Yeah, exceed. But seriously, thanks for watching today's Market Watch. Please subscribe if you haven't already to enter that giveaway, like this video, and again, in the comment section down below, tell me the card you think is going to go up the most from where it's at now in Rise of the Duelist. We'll say in 2 months or 3 months, but you can say long term as well. I didn't put that at the beginning of the video. Thanks for watching, everybody.